Om Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guruh Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasmi Guru Mama Pahi Guru सच्चिदानन्तरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमवेदहृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकादर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. I'm sharing with you the meaning of the Srimad Bhagavada Purana, and today I would like to share with you the meaning of the third chapter. The theme of this chapter is his different avatars and how the manifestation or this creation came out from him. So let us go to this chapter. This is the third chapter in the first skanda of Srimad Bhagavada Purana. Now the Sutta Pauranika, he is explaining Bhagavada Purana or reciting Bhagavada Purana to the Saunakati rishis who were doing a satra. So the Sutta is telling, Sutta uvacha jagrihe paurusham rupam Bhagavan mahadadibihi sambhudam shodasha kalamadhau lohasi srukshaya yasyam bhasi shayanasya yoga nidra vitanvatah Nabihradam bhujadasid brahma vishwa srujampatihi. So after the previous pralaya, it was completely filled with the water of deluge. In that water of deluge, Sriman Narayana, the supreme being, he is just lying on his yogic slumber, just lying like that in his yogic slumber. And by lying like that, when the time of the next creation came, when he felt the need for the next creation or when he felt the urge for the next creation, using his power Maya or using his creative will, he imagined about the creation very vividly in his mind. He imagined how he should bring out that Maya. When he imagined that power in him, Maya, it became active. Because that is his creative power, his creative will, it became active. And he imagined about the different categories right from Mula Prakriti. From Mula Prakriti, that is also said as Prakriti. And the different categories after that, from the Mula Prakriti evolved the Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva can also be said as Hiranya Garbha. And this Mahat Tattva, it had all the ideas of this creation. That is said as the Bija of this creation. All the ideas very clearly in his mind. And that is the Mahat Tattva. And it came from the Nabi of Bhagavan. It is said that, it implies that it came from it originated from him. Bhagavan, he gave birth to this creation. And it came from the Nabi of Bhagavan, a lotus flower, which implies the creation, and Lord Brahma sitting on it. The whole picture, everything depicts that, or it implies that the creation originated from Bhagavan. He gave birth to this creation, and the lotus flower always implies creation, and Lord Brahma sitting on it is his creative power. His creative power in the sense it had all the ideas of the creation, very vividly, very clearly, all the ideas about this creation. He imagined that Mahat Tattva, that is all the ideas of creation. Then from it emerged the Ahankara. The next category is Ahankara, because when Bhagavan keep everything in him, it cannot manifest out. So he imagined an individuality. He gave an individuality to his creation. So just like when we want to build a house, we have all the ideas about the house, isn't it? It must have a garden, then a place to park our cars, then our room, sitting room, kitchen, side room, everything. We will have an idea. That idea is said as Mahat Tattva, for example, comparingly. But that idea is Mahat Tattva. So to create that, to make it reality, we have to give an individuality to that creation, and that is Ahankara. What Ahankara I am referring here is what the Bhagavata tells us. It is the Ahankara, totality Ahankara of this creation itself. That individuality he imagined in his mind. Then from that Ahankara came the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These three gunas were in complete equilibrium during the last pralaya, but now it became separate. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, that he imagined. From the Sattva guna, he imagined about the presiding deities of the remaining categories, all the deities. Presiding deities means presiding powers. Then the Antakarana means Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. This combination is Antakarana. That he imagined. Then from the Rajoguna, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, that he imagined. Then from the Tamoguna, he imagined about the Tanmatras. Tanmatras is the initial state of the elements before becoming elements. Then he imagined about the Sukshma elements, the 5 elements, basic elements. Then from that elements, they combine together to form different forms. And these different forms are of different categories. And these categories are said as kala. There is, for example, the one cell objects like a cell or an amoeba, like that, small objects, small beings, they have Annamaya Kosha as well as Pranamaya Kosha. Both they have. They can breathe and they have a vibration and they have a very tiny body. Then the next is the insects like that, or the small animals like goat and all. They have Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. They have mind but not buddhi. But the animals like chimpanzee and monkeys, they have Vijnanamaya Kosha also, buddhi. And human beings, we have in us all the 5 koshas are active. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, we breathe, we think, we vijnanamaya kosha with buddhi, that deciding factor, and anandamaya kosha, we can taste the bit of Atma, the bliss of Atma. When the mind becomes pure, the kalas becomes more and more, like 6 kalas, 7, 8, which is they may be aware of the different conscious level. The great rishis and munis, they have 8 kalas or more. But this physical body, this gross body, which is just made of the 5 elements, gross elements, it cannot hold more kalas. That is, it will disintegrate. That's why when the jnanis, when they meditate, when they go to the higher state of meditation, they just shut off this body. This body with this, which is so gross, cannot hold that conscious power. But the body of Bhagavan, it is not that made of 5 elements. It is that condensed form of pure consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna or Bhagavan Sri Rama, like that, or Bhagavan Shiv. They had that consciousness itself will make that body, not because of the 5 elements like how we have the gross body. That's why when they want to leave this mortal world, they just disappear. So that's what explained in the beginning 2 shlokas. He very vividly imagined about all this. very clearly. When we imagine to build a house, we often change the plan. But Bhagavan is not like that. He just imagined like that, and everything was so clear in his mind. And that form is known as the Virat Rupa or Virat Purusha. It had everything. And that form, it had many heads, many eyes, many ears, many mouth, many arms, many uru, many thighs, many legs, everything. And everything, what all we see in this world was there in that Rupa, in that imaginary Rupa of Bhagavan, that Virat Purusha. The sages were there, the Asuras were there, the Suras were there, and everything, decorations with the diadems and many silk robes, all that. It is just like what he showed to Arjuna in Bhagavan, Krishna showed to Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavada Gita. That is the Virat Rupa, Virat Purusha. And this Virat Purusha is the source for all the avatars, for everything, what all is there in this creation, that Virat Purusha is the source of it. And here in Srimad Bhagavata, the Sutta Pauranika tells about many avatars, nearly 22 avatars. But the order of these avatars is not exactly like what we know, or the famous 10 avatars, that is the Matsya Kurma Varaha, Nrisimha, Vamana, and Parashurama, Sri Rama, Balarama, Krishna. So this order is a little bit different from what the Sutta Pauranika says, because he is telling from that beginning of the creation. So let us see what Sutta Pauranika says in Srimad Bhagavada about the different avatars. What is the purpose of these avatars? The whole purpose of these avatars is to help the fellow beings, help the different beings, not only human beings, the different levels of categories, because everything emerged from Bhagavan. Even the Suras and Asuras, everything, they were also created by Bhagavan, the imaginary form of Bhagavan. So because the Asuras are also needed to balance this creation. But when that percentage goes above the saturation point, then Bhagavan takes avatar and destroys the negative forces and help the people who are positive or who follow dharma. So that is one purpose of avatars. And the other purpose of avatar is to set an example for the people to follow in the coming yugas. Just like he gave Bhagavad Gita, which we all are studying and following the steps of Bhagavad Gita. So just like that, to set an example and save the fellow beings or save the creation, Bhagavan takes different avatars. Having created these beings, he also manifests as different avatars and he helped the creation. So we will see what are avatars Sutta Pauranika say. Sayeva prathaman deva kauparam sargamasthitah chachara duscharam brahma brahmacharyam akhanditam. First, he manifested as the 4 Rishi Kumaras, that is the Sanakati Rishis, that is the Sanaka, Sanantana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. These 4 Sanat Kumara Rishis, he took the avatar as the 4 Brahma Rishis who are very young, 5 years old. And he set an example for Akhantitam Brahmacharya, means Brahmacharya without any break. He just showed to this world that it is possible. And the next avatar is Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya rasathalagata mahim uddarishyannupadatta yajnesha saukaram vapuho. And the next avatar was, he took the avatar of Varahamurti, and he lifted the Mahi, which was there in the Rasathala, that is in the down low and Rasathala, and he lifted the Mahi from the water of deluge and he placed it on the top of that water of deluge. So that avatar, Varaha avatar, that is the second avatar. Tritiyam rishi sargam cha devarshi dvamopetyasah tantram satvatamachashta Naishkarmyam karmanam yatah. And the next avatar, that is the third avatar, was born as Devarshi Narada. And born as Devarshi Narada, that is the mind-born son of Brahma, Lord Brahma, which implies that he manifested from that Virat Purusha. Everything manifested from that Virat Purusha, but after this, all will have a parent. But this they just they manifested out because they are all so pure avatars, and he was born as Devarshi Narada. He took avatar as Devarshi Narada, and he preached the devotional doctrine of Pancharatra, which helped the people relieve from their miseries of this samsara sagara. So first to lift the earth from the water of deluge, he manifested as Varaha Murti, and now to lift the people from the samsara sagara, he manifested as Devarshi Narada and preached the devotional doctrine of Pancharatra. That is the next avatar, and the fourth avatar is तुर्ये धर्मकला सर्गे नरनारायणावृषि भूत्वा आत्मोपशमो वेदत् अकरो दुश्चरन्तपः. The next he manifested as the Nar Narayana, born of Dharma Prajapati. And Nar Narayana, he manifested as twin rishis, and he practiced on severe austerity, and he was so pious, and he so absolute serenity, and he set an example for that, how to practice this severe austerity, always be pious and always maintain that absolute serenity. He set an example for all that. And the next Panchama Kapilo Nama Siddhesha Kala Vipludam Provacha Suraye Sankyam Tattvagrama Vinirnayam. And this is the fifth time he manifested, or he took the avatar of Kapila Maharshi, sage Kapila. He was born as the last son of Kardama Prajapati and Devahuti, and advised to his mother Devahuti, and that his advice, Kapilopatesha, is said as the Sankhya philosophy. It very clearly explains about the Purusha and Prakriti and the different evolutes of Prakriti. Only in Sankhya philosophy, the evolutes of Prakriti is very clear. Even the Vedantas, or the people who follow Bhakti or any other order of life, they refer to the Sankhya philosophy to understand about the evolutes of Prakriti. So important is Sankhya philosophy. Not only it explains the Prakriti and Purusha, it also explains about the Atma Vidya. So it's very important in the Sanatana Dharma. So as Kapila Bhagavan, as Kapila Rishi, he advised Sankhya philosophy to the world. Shashte atreravadhyatvam vrutapraptonusuyaya anvikshikhimatlalakaya prahlādādibhya uchivan. The sixth time he incarnated as Lord Dattatreya, as a son of Devi Anasuya and Atri Maharshi, and instructed Alarka and Prahalada Brahma Vidya, that is Atma Vidya. That is his sixth avatar. Tada saptama ahutyam rucher yajno bhyajayatha sayabhadyai suraganairapa swayam bhuvantaram. So during the time of Swayambhuva Manu, he took the avatara as the Yajna, as the son of Ruchi and wife Ahuti. That is, he incarnated as Yajna. Yajna, because in Bhagavad Gita and many places it said, I am the Lord of Yajna and I am also one who received the oblation in Yajna. So he manifested as the Yajna, and he helped all the devas and all the people during the period of Swayambhuva Manu. So that is his seventh avatara. Now the eighth avatara. Ashtame Meru Devyam tu Nabhirjada Urukrama darshayan vartmadhiranam sarvashrama namaskrutam. And the eighth time he was born as Rishabha, and as the son of Nabhi and Meru, and he explained or demonstrated the way of Paramahamsas, that is considered as the supreme way of life, Brahman, that is existing as Brahman itself. So as Rishabha Rishi, he explained or showed to others the way of the Paramahamsas, which is explained as which is said as the supreme state of life. That is this eighth avatara. And the ninth avatara, ऋषिभिर्याचितो भेजे नवमं पार्थिवं वपुः दुग्धे मामोषधिर्विप्रास्तेनायं स उषत्तम. And the ninth time he was born as Emperor Prithu, and he milked out, or he revealed the great powers of this Prithvi. It had so many resources, but all that resources were not revealed to all the other beings at that time. Now it's okay, but at that time, so he made the powers of the Mahi to come out. So that's what it is said. He ninth time as Emperor Prithu, he milked out the earth of all her hidden resources. After that only everyone came to know that the earth is enough for our life. So it is who that Emperor Prithu, he was responsible for that, to reveal all the hidden resources of this Mahi, that is earth. And the next avatara, रूपं स जगृहे मात्स्यं चाक्षुषोदधि संप्लवे नाव्यारोप्य महिमय्याम् आपात् वैवस्वतं मनुम्. And the next time, when the deluge took place in the Chakshusha Manvantra, when the deluge took place, he incarnated as the fish. He took the Matsya Avatara as a fish and saved Vaivasvata Manu. And the earth also took the shape of a boat. And Vaivasvata Manu, he sat on that boat. And as the Matsya Avatara, as a fish, he saved Vaivasvata Manu and the people on that boat. And they were alive in the next, after the deluge, they were so safe also. So just like that, as a Matsya Avatara, he saved Vaivasvata Manu and all the people who lived there during the Chakshusha Manvantra, when the deluge took place in the Chakshusha Manvantra. So that is the 10th avatara. And the next avatara, 11th avatara is Sura Surana Mudhadim Matnada Mandarachalam Dagdhe Kamantarubhena Prishtaye Kadasho Vibuhu. And the next time he was born as a tortoise, that is the Kurma Avatara, and on his back was the Mantara mountain, that is the Asuras and Devas, they placed the mountain Mantara on his back, that is the back of the tortoise. He took the form of the tortoise, that is the Kurma Avatara, and the Asuras and the Devas, they churned the milk ocean. So that time, to help the Devas and Asuras, he took this 11th avatara. All these avatars will be explained in detail in the following following skandhas. And the 12th avatara, 12th and 13th avatara, as said in this shloka, Danvantaram Dvadashamam Trayodashamam cha Apayayat Surananyan Mohinya Mohayan Striya. So he came out when the Devas and Asuras, when they churned the ocean of milk, He came out as Dhanvantri Bhagavan with a pot of nectar. But the Asuras are seeing that they just grabbed the pot of nectar from Bhagavan, Dhanvantri. He took the Dhanvantri Avatara and he came out with a pot of nectar. The Asuras, they saw this pot and they grabbed it from Bhagavan Dhanvantri and they took it off. So, to get back that pot of nectar from the Asuras, Bhagavan again next incarnated as Mohini, which deluded the Asuras, and they gave the pot to Bhagavan itself, who was in that Stri Rupa, that is the form of woman, as Mohini, and he deluded the Asuras. चतुर्दशं नारसिंहं बिभ्रद्दैत्येन्द्रमूर्जितं दधार करजैर्वक्षस्येरकां कटकृध्यताम्. That is, and the fourth, that is the next avatara, this is the 14th avatara in this order. He manifested or took the avatara as Nrsimha, the combination of man and lion avatara, and he just tear the heart of the Daitya, very powerful Daitya, and he saved his bhaktas. So that is his next avatara. Panchadasham vamanaham krutva ghadadbharam hale Padatrayam yachamanah pratyaditsustrivishtabam. And the next avatara, that is the 15th avatara, is the Vaman avatara. He took the form of a dwarf and went to the Yagashala of Emperor Bali, and he asked for 3 feet of land. And Bali also accepted it. And by that way, he measured the 3 lokas and received the 3 lokas back from Emperor Bali. So that was a very powerful avatar. Avatare Shodashami Pashyan Brahmadruho Nrupan Trisapta Kritva Kupito Nikshatra And the next avatara, 16th avatara, he incarnated as Parashurama, and for killing the holy men, the Nripas of that time, the emperors of that time, the people who ruled earth, for the papa of killing a holy man, not because he is the father, because of killing holy men, the emperors killing holy men, he destroyed the Kshatriya race for 21 times. That is, for the 21 different generations of Kshatriyas, he killed them. That is the Parashurama Avatara. And the 17th Avatara, Tada Saptadashe Jadaha Satvatyam Parasharad Chakre Veda Taro Shakha Drishtva Bhumsolpamedhasaha. The next, that is the 17th time, he was born as Ved Vyasa, Krishna Dvaipayana Ved Vyasa. Ved Vyasa, he was born as Krishna Dvaipayana. Later, for the work, for this very powerful work, he divided the Vedas according to the mantras and subjects, and that also he divided further, and he taught these Vedas to his disciples, wrote the Puranas, the 18 Puranas, including this great work, and wrote the Brahma Sutra and everything, what not, everything he did. Only because of Sri Ved Vyasa, we are able to understand Sanatana Dharma. We are able to understand Veda itself. Or otherwise, Veda will be gone by time. Only because of Sri Ved Vyasa, we are able to access Vedas. So that is his 17th avatar. He is the great avatar of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. Who else can do all this work? Naradevattvamapanna Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadhini Chakre Viryanyatha Param. The 18th avatar, he took as the human form as Sri Rama Avatara, and he was the first one to give idea to build bridges across the sea. No one before that thought, and only after that everyone we are induced technology to it, and we are making new form of bridges. But it was Bhagavan Sri Ram who was the first one to cross the sea. And what all he did do in that avatara. As the Rama avatara, he took that avatara and relieved the earth of its bhara of bearing that ashuras. So that is that avatara. And the 19th avatara and 20th avatara. एकोनविंशे विंशतिमे वृष्णिषु प्राप्य जन्मनि रामकृष्णा विधि भुवो बहवान् हरद्भरम्. And the 19th and the 20th avatar is born in the Vrishni Kula as Balarama and Krishna among the human beings. And that avatar, the purpose of that avatar is also to relieve the earth from the bhara, from the weight of the negative forces, that is the ashuras. ततः कलौ सम्प्रवृत्ते सम्मोहाय सुरद्विषां बुद्धो नाम्ना जनसूद कीकटेषु भविष्यति. So this avatar, Bhagavan said in the beginning of the Kali Yuga itself, that is the end of Dwapara Yuga, in the beginning of the Kali Yuga, Ved Vyasa wrote about this avatar, that is in the future, that is when the Kali Yuga advances in the land of Kikatas, in the place called Gaya, and he will be born as the son of Anjana, and that is the Buddha avatar. So Lord Buddha is also said as the avatar of Sriman Narayana, or that supreme being Brahman, and it is said in Srimad Bhagavata. And he will delude the asuras. Asuras means the modern life asuras. And the next avatar, that is, all these are said as in the future avatars. Athasau yuga santyayam dasyu prapyeshu rajasu janita vishnu yashaso namna kalkir jagatpati. And in the end of the Kali Yuga, he will be born as the son of Vishnu Yasas, and that is the Kalki Avatara. He will be born as Bhagavan Kalki to a Brahmana named Vishnu Yasas at the end of the Kali Yuga. So these are all the very prominent avatars Bhagavan took in this creation. And the Bhagavata Sutta Puranika says, Avatara Yasankyeya Hare Sattva Nirdevija Yadha Vidasina Kulyaha Sarasasyu Sahasrasaha. The avatars of Bhagavan, it doesn't have an end. It is infinite. It is just like many perennial rivers taking birth from the main river. So it is just like that. The Sutta Puranika says there is no end for the avatars of Bhagavan. All the rishis, the prajapatis, all these are the kala, or that there is the avatar of Bhagavan Hari only. So it goes on like that. Even we are all our avatars of Bhagavan, but the only thing is we have more rajas and tamasic nature than the sattvic nature. That's why everyone can transform into Bhagavan, because we are all from Bhagavan. Each and every being has the power to transform themselves into Bhagavan. Only thing we have to do, practice. So that is said about the avatars, and the Sutta Puranika says, Ye te cha amshakala bhumsah Krishnasthu Bhagavan Swayam Indrarishyakulam Lokam Mrudayanti Yuge Yuge. So all the other avatars are just taken from time to time to help the human beings and to set an example. But the Krishna avatar is entirely different from this, because Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. In the Krishna avatar is the complete avatar. It is the complete form of that supreme being, Brahman himself. Brahman, it is the supreme form of Brahman. There is no part in it, but in all the other avatars, it has only some percentage. In normal terms, if we say, only some percentage or part of that supreme being. But Bhagavan Krishna is the Purna Avatara. That's why they said it is the Purna Avatara. It is the full revelation of the Lord, of that supreme being, Brahman, or it can be said as Paramatma or Bhagavan. So that is the complete avatar. Krishna Avatara is the complete avatara. And in the Balashruti, so the Pauranika says, whoever recites these avatars or whoever understands the order of these categories and avatars, they will attain freedom from this dukkha samsara, misery of samsara. So that is said about the avatars. And now Bhagavan, that is the Sutta Pauranika says how Bhagavan, he manifested this creation. And the gist of it is telling, येदत्रूपं भगवतो ह्यरूपस्य चिदात्मनः मायागुणैर्विरचितं महदादिभिरात्मनि. So, using his power of Maya, he created these beings. He created the different elements, and combining the elements, he created different forms. All this he created out of Maya, and he entered in these forms. Yatreme sadasadrube pradishidhe swasamvita avidyayatmani krude yidi tad brahma darshanam. So using his own power Maya, and from that Mula Prakriti, different evolutes came. First is the Mahat Tattva, then Ahangara, then the three gunas, and different evolutes from the each of the gunas. So from that, from the Tamo guna, different elements came. So he combined, using that elements, he combined them and formed different forms. That's why we all have that guna. We are all the combination of the three gunas, which is the imagination of Bhagavan. And so we also have a part of that guna. And all this he formed different forms. And he entered in them as jiva, permeated in them as jiva. But this jiva is entirely different from this gross body. This physical body is entirely different. The jiva is the reflection of that Brahman or Paramatma, combined with the essence of the mind and essence of the senses, and it is the jiva that takes different birth. It will, when its karma or the karma of that jiva is over in one birth, it will shed off this body and take another form. So this jiva is said as the transmigrating soul. So this jiva takes different births and performs its karma, because with that pure reflection of Brahman, along with it is there the mind and the karma and the essence of the subtle body, everything is there. So it takes different birth. Once when the jiva realizes that I am that pure Atma, I am not this body or mind, I am Brahman, I am the reflection of Brahman. That is the Brahma Darshanam. That's the Sutta Pauranika says, Yatre tadasadrupe pradishithe swasamvita avidyayatmani hrude yidi tad brahma darshanam. That is the Brahma darshanam for that jiva. And why this jiva takes this repeated birth or it takes different forms? Because of avidya, only because of avidya. And the Sutta Pauranika says, Yadhyesho Barada Devi Maya Vaisharadi Matihi Sampanna Ye Vedi Vituhu Mahimni Swe Mahiyate. The power of the Lord, which functions as both avidya and vidya. That is, by avidya, we feel that I am in bondage. Actually, I am that infinite Brahman, but I cannot feel it now. Maybe I can say it, but I cannot feel it, or I cannot realize it. That is because of Maya. That is the avidya is also because of Maya. Ignorance is also because of Maya. And vidya, the moment I realize it, that is also the play of Maya. Actually, I am that Brahman. We are superimposing that avidya or ignorance on Brahman. We imagine that I am something different and realize that I am not different. So both these are the powers of Maya. Actually, it is we all are the pure being, that supreme consciousness. And the Sutta Puranika says, सवायिदं विश्वममोघलीलः सृदत्यवत्यधीनः सज्जतेऽस्मिन् भूतेषु चान्तर्हित आत्मतन्त्र षड्वर्गिकं जिघ्रदे षड्गुणेशः. Bhagavan, he creates, the sustains and withdraws this world in him. But all the time, he is not attached to all these actions. He is that pure consciousness. He remains in his self. He is completely aware of himself. At the same time, he performs all this action and he creates this form, create the five senses, and through the five senses, he enjoys the sense objects. But all the time, he is completely aware of himself. Only this jiva, it imagines, that is a reflection of the Bhagavan, because of its superimposition with the body and mind, so close proximity with the body and mind, it imagines that I am this body or this mind, and it when the Maya, with the help of Maya only, when this avidya is removed, then it realizes that I am Brahman. अदेह धन्या भगवन्त इत्थं यद्वासुदेव किल लोकनाथे कुर्वन्ति सर्वात्मकमात्मभावं न यत्र भूय परिवर्त उग्रः. And the Sutta Pauranika says, saying that Saunaka Rishis doing that yajna says, you are all very blessed Rishis because you are so close with Bhagavan and you are hearing about the Bhagavata Kathas always. You are so close with Bhagavan and you will be freed from this recurring cycle of birth and death. And the Sutta Pauranika says this, seeing the Saunaka Rishis. And in a way, we are also fortunate enough to hear this or read this Bhagavata Purana. And the Sutta Pauranika tells about the origin of the Bhagavata. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Sammitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishreyasaya Logasya Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat Tadidam Grahayamasa Sutamatmavatamvaram. So the great sage Vyasa, he produced this text called Bhagavata, which is equivalent to Veda, which gives the Atma Vidya, which is the essence of Veda, which is the essence of the Itihasas, the essence of all the Puranas. It is the teaching of the Vedas. And that Purana, writing this, he taught this Purana to his son, Shuka Brahma Rishi. And the Shuka Brahma Rishi, once when Raja Parikshit was there on the banks of river Ganga, fasting till death, he recited the Bhagavata Purana, that is the Shuka Brahma Rishi, he recited the Bhagavata Purana to the Parikshit Maharaja. At that time, many people were there, many rishis and many people were there. So I was also among them. That is the Sutta Pauranika is telling, I was also among them. And I just sitting among the sages, when the great sage narrated the Bhagavata Purana, I also heard it. And by the grace of that great one, I was able to learn this Bhagavata Purana, which is very important in the Kali Yuga. And he is telling, Aham chadyagamam tatra nivishtastadhanugrahat sohambha shravayishyami yathadhitam yathamati. What I have grasped, what I have learned from the Shuka Brahmarshi, that I will tell to you. This Sutta Pauranika is telling to Saunaka, the rishis who were assembled there to do a great satra. So because this text or this Purana, that is, it will help the people mainly of the Kali Yuga, because other yugas, they had the power of meditation, they had the power of Atma Vidya. But the people of Kali Yuga, they have all the impurities and Atma Vidya also not available for them. So for them, this Purana is very useful. And this Sutta Pauranika says and ends this chapter, that is chapter 3. The next chapter, chapter 4, I will continue in my next video. Sri Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste.